everybody, Dr. Rob Silverman here. I've got Lindsey Cunningham, CEO of RollinGreens. I'm excited to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk to you today.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about phytonutrients, plant-based, plant-forward, and all that. But let me set the table for you a little bit. Let's talk about plant-based diets, which are based on mostly eating plants and minimally processed foods while limiting or avoiding animal products. Plant-based diets can have a variety of health benefits, including the reduction of body weight, the reduction of blood pressure, the risk of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Interestingly enough, they can also make a valuable impact on your environmental regions and make everything more sustainable. And lastly, let's look at the numbers. 70% of people now eat some form of plant-based foods. Millennials and Gen Zs tend to consume more plant-based foods than the older generations. Well, there you go. Take it away.
I agree with everything you just said. Rolling Greens, our story actually originated as Boulder's first organic food truck in 1980. And it was my husband's family's food truck. We're a husband and wife team. And we didn't know about the family legacy because he wasn't born yet. And his parents went on to have other careers. His father became a homeopathic doctor. His mother was a plant based pioneer who started the School of Natural Cookery. So he quite literally grew up in a culinary school. Fast forward to 2011, with the food truck craze going from roach coach to gourmet food, we said, why don't we start with a food truck and then do a restaurant? And so that was what happened in 2011. We then learned about our family legacy from 1980. We took back the name Rolling Greens. We became a farmer's market staple, and
Mm.
people would line around the corner for hours waiting on Chef Co's food. And that's when we knew we had to take our products to market, not only to scale the business, but ultimately to feed the world healthy, tasty, affordable food. And we made that conscious decision at that point in time to go to market with a plant-based line of products.
I mean, without question, plant-based is exploding exponentially now. So let's differentiate plant-based from plant-forward. Somebody who's plant-based essentially eats just plants, like a vegan diet, which is really a small percent of the population. Plant-forward, which we talked about before, about 70% of Americans are now incorporating plants, and well, they should, as far as I'm concerned. So that's growing, again, exponentially, and that's quite exciting. But your trek, it's fascinating. Food truck. Most people associate the food truck with not healthy foods, and to get a salad with all phytonutrients, that was not an easy twist for you.
Yeah, we Chef Co has an incredible culinary background. He's been creating plant-based foods for 25 years. And when we went to do our food truck, it actually wasn't all plant-based at the time. We
Mm.
worked about 95% with local farmers, and that was our whole operation, was knowing where your food came from and getting to know thy farmer and the energetics of food and how much better it tasted, and the transportation, the carbon footprint, all of that was really part of the food truck philosophy. But at the end of the day, it was creating incredibly good tasting food that happened to be good for you. And we took that philosophy and we brought that into our package line that we have in existence today. Taste is number one for us. If it doesn't taste good, we're not going to do it. But it happens to check all the boxes, from clean ingredients to
Mm.
shelf stable nature without any added binders or fillers. It's kosher, it's gluten free, it's non GMO, glyphosate free. That's our newest certification, because glyphosate's one of the largest carcinogenic, and it's in our food. And so knowing that all of our crops are not tainted with glyphosate is really empowering, not only for ourselves, but for our customer base as well.
Well, I'm definitely going to piggyback on what you just said. So you have no soy, and not that I'm anti-soy, but soy's out, wheat, gluten, oh goodness. We don't even have to discuss that on this show. We've done that every week. I'm excited. Everybody listening, if this is your first time, it is not difficult to go gluten-free. You're not losing foods. There is no deprivation in our diets when we talk about plant-based. It's substitution.
Yeah.
Limiting grains. I mean, there's an argument for grains, but the consideration of not eating grains can be very inflammatory. No nuts, which I'd like you to talk about. Why no nuts? Why no specific? When you say no oils on your label, are you talking no vegetable oils? You're not talking no oils also. And fillers make sense. So you know what? Why don't you respond to why no nuts and the oils that you do use?
We do not use any oils in our products. So zero oils, zero nuts. And if you can look at the trend of ingredients that you just, or allergens that you just listed, we are top 12 allergen friendly. We wanted to create a product for all. And, you're not going to satisfy every single group, but we have just made our products off of simple philosophy of clean, incredibly tasty products, and that has no allergens, and one of the largest allergen is nuts, and so we wanted to remove that from being a limitation for somebody to potentially eat our products. All of our facilities are as well top allergen friendly as well.
Outstanding. So I really like what you're emphasizing in the idea, and I have to do this with patients, and a lot of practitioners also have the same problem. When you say healthy, people think that the taste goes, and people don't realize that health actually tastes better and can taste better over a duration of time, especially since you're not using any of these fillers, any of these sugars, which light up the reward center of your brain. You're also, as you said before, certified gluten-free, non-GMO verified, kosher. You're using a minimal ingredients. You're allergen-free. And let's talk about glyphosate. Goodness gracious, glyphosate, one of the active ingredients in Roundup. Glyphosate is the world's greatest antibiotic. The only problem is it's in 93 to 99% of our soils.
And food.
And even in organic soils. So glyphosate is a problem. We're hoping that the awareness of how enormously used glyphosate is really gets the population to say, no more glyphosate. So it doesn't matter if it's organic or not organic. If it's been exposed to glyphosate, it's detrimental to one's overall health. So how are we able to get glyphosate-free ingredients and products?
Yeah, I mean, that's a newer certification for us. But we believe that this is the next awareness in food and labeling. And it's in beauty products, it's in soil, it's in your food, it's what you're eating, one of the largest carcinogenics that you're eating, and you don't know about it. So having that transparency internally for us is very important for our customer base, because we are protecting not only our own families that are eating our products. I mean, we've designed these products for our own family. And if we can't eat it, then nobody should. So that is kind of the mindset that we have. And it's the new transparency and wave in the future of food.
I love it. Now, I watch it. You were on Shark Tank.
We were, yes. My husband, Chef Co, and I were.
Chef Co. Now, you got to tell everybody why you call him Chef Co. I love the nickname. Maybe mention that before we went on.
Yeah. Well, he grew up doing Inshin karate, and he was undefeated. So his nickname was KO.
Mm.
And then when he became a chef, it was Chef KO, because now he's knocking out your taste buds in the kitchen. So it's a fun name. He's also a Renaissance man and the nicest guy, most humble chef you will ever meet. And the joke is he'll knock you out, but then he'll knit you a hat because he feels bad about knocking you out. So that was really the background. But yeah, Chef Co and I we were on Shark Tank in 2020 during the height of the pandemic.
So tell me about it a little bit. Now, I understand that you used something no longer you have it. It's frozen millet tots and cauliflower wings. You struck a deal. So talk about that. Talk about that experience. Talk about what that did. You're in like 5,000 stores now, as I recall. You're also on QVC. So was that the springboard?
Shark Tank was an incredible experience and an incredible platform. We reached hundreds of thousands of people. It catapulted our direct-to-consumer frozen sales online. At the same time, though, during the pandemic, we were facing major COVID-related supply chain issues, frozen manufacturing, and we had developed our shelf-stable plant-based protein that we had put up online, and consumers were going bananas for it. I mean, 97% of consumers give our ground taco 5 out of 5 stars. So we said, listen, let's look into the future. We had always wanted to do shelf-stable products. Even on Shark Tank, we said, we're going to do 30 products over the course of a few years. We have frozen into shelf stable. So we knew this was the plan for the innovation. We just didn't know that we were going to pivot completely out of frozen and into shelf stable. So now, because of COVID related supply chain issues, because environmentally what frozen does has on the planet, we wanted to create the shelf stable nature of products and bring our products in the future, not only for our bottom line, our bodies, and the planet. So that was the shift completely out of frozen and into shelf stable.
Interesting with the shelf stable. That's a great differentiation. By the way, shopping channel QVC crowned RollinGreens the best plant-based food as of 2021. Kudos to you. So now that I said that, in your opinion, in your humble opinion, of course, what makes RollinGreens products different from other plant-based offerings? Because there's a lot to pick from now.
Yeah, there are. When it comes to alternative proteins and meals, RollinGreens is top notch, completely differentiated from most of the market. So what exists today tends to be refrigerated, tends to lack taste, and is not meeting consumer nutritional profile demands. So the ingredients aren't there. It tends to be filled with fillers, unnecessary ingredients. So that is a package that we disassembled and have created our own. So taste is number one. We're all shelf stable with a 2-year shelf life, ambient storage with no added binders, fillers, or unnecessary ingredients. We utilize clean ingredients like peas, apple, beans, carrot, clean seasoned protein. We also, like we talked about, are allergen friendly. We don't use soy and wheat, which tends to be in a lot of plant-based alternatives. And we are, really filling a need in the marketplace, in the center of the aisle.
That's outstanding. So I'm looking at your classic chili bowl right here, which you were nice enough to send. We've been using a lot of your samples. We appreciate that. Anytime you want to send more, hint, hint.
Yeah, of course, yes.
It makes life easy for my wife. So very interesting. There are the knock on plant-based. There's a few knocks. So let's go over them. Now, one, heavy carbohydrates, heavy sugars. So interesting, if I may. Your total carbohydrate is 35. Your dietary fiber is 11 grams in this. The average American takes 8 to 15 grams or consumes 8 to 15 grams per day. We need 35 to 50. So you've covered it in one of these. Total sugars are 8 or 9. I'm having trouble reading with these old eyes, and including 0 added sugars.
Yeah, that's just naturally actually coming from the tomato that's in the chili. And so in what you were just saying, as far as with the protein, we haven't gotten to that. That has over 23 grams of clean US made protein. So, but the big thing there really is that fiber. You don't get that with animal protein. You don't get the fiber, and you do with our products. So what you held up are new on the go single serves. They're all plant-based. They do have a carb component, which is rice. 3 of them are rice bowls. One of them is the chili bowl. And they're so unique because they're on the go. You can add water and microwave. You could add hot water, let it sit for 8 to 10 minutes if you don't like to microwave or don't have that. But these are filling a major white space in that single serve market. But the protein, it's low calories, it's high fiber, no added sugar. Just a great source for on the go busy people.
Yeah, it's very accessible. I mean, when we're looking at the energy source, there's 3 grams of fat, so it's more carbohydrate laden. But you made a great point with the fiber, the no added sugars, and the low sugars. It isn't spiking your blood glucose, and you're not responding with insulin. And of course, you've got the offset with protein, which is the second biggest question I hear about protein. Plant-based vegan type meals are protein deficient. However, I'm going to steal your thunder because, as we know, muscle mass is the longevity organ and currency of longevity. You use a shiitake mushroom added to many of your different plant-based protein sources. Shiitake mushroom helps to ferment if you use pea and rice protein and gives all 9 essential amino acids. I did a little searching. interesting. The shiitake type mushrooms also allow for branch chain amino acids because pea protein is not as strong as animal protein unless you add leucine, which is in branch chain amino acids. And you've covered that, much to my new knowledge, in shiitake mushrooms. And I have said that mushrooms, without question, are very low calorie, extraordinarily highly dense food. Not only that, they're a quality protein. So now I know why, if I go into a vegan store, they offer me a vegan steak and it's mushroom.
It's an incredible source. It's a beautiful source, and it's added so much value to our products.
So we've got high protein, high assimilated protein, which I didn't know was possible, but now I know. And that's the beauty of talking to people like you in podcasts, that, we have a responsibility to the people out there. I mean, you did this because you wanted to make America healthy. You wanted to make the world healthy. You wanted to make yourself healthy or continue to stay healthy. And I'm compelled by that story. It's a family tree thing, if you will. And you are, without question, the entrepreneur. I like that in your bio. That was great. And I think you're doing a fabulous job. Deeper than that, why is plant-based so important for the planet?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but one, meat production would literally have to double by 2050 in order to meet our growing demand of overpopulation. Our planet cannot support that, from land and water usage especially. And so having an alternative like RollinGreens' products is a must. Now, we're not going after the meat industry. We're not saying don't have meat. We're saying supplement, whether it's one meal a day or one meal a week. Anything will have an incredible positive impact on our planet. And none of us like what's happening with global warming and, some of the impact with meat production is one of the largest contributors to global warming. And so we have to think about these things when we are growing the population. And it's not just about your own house, your own family. It's about the world and the impact we're making on the planet.
I agree. It's interesting. We are eating plants, grass, if you will, through some of your products. Tasty stuff. I know to say eating plant and grass may not boom sales. I apologize. But what are the meats eating? Exactly that. Now, what's most interesting to me is, you're talking about going glyphosate free, which is going to save the soil, and you're trying to save the planet, and we're eating healthy. It's great. Now, so you said, if I were to take this, and I'm going to the gym a lot, and I want to get big, and I want to maintain muscle mass, this is a great substitute because of the quality protein, and or in conjunction with 3 ounces of chicken, let's say.
Yes. It is. It's an and. It's not an or. It's an and. And so what we value and really target at RollinGreens is this flexitarian lifestyle. That's how we identify as a flexitarian, which is a semi-vegetarian plant-based diet centered on plant-based foods, but still has occasional inclusion of animal protein. 22% of all US consumers identify as flexitarian, yes, and 36% amongst Gen Zers, the largest generation alongside baby boomers. So this is a growing population. This is a sustainable and an attainable diet.
Now, flexitarian basically means that you're flexible. You're not locked into any one thing. So you're willing to eat plant-based, plant-forward stuff. You could conceivably have a chicken and vegetable meal the next time. You could mix it together and you're flexitarian. But, there's a lot of terms used out there. So we hear the term vegan, plant-based, plant-forward. Could you go through like octitarian, pescatarian? Could you touch upon those and define them? Or you just rather put it all under flexitarian and just go for it?
Yeah, I think yes, I would, that's maybe your not my expertise. Okay. My expertise is what I know, which is this flexitarian group where you are centered on plant-based foods, but you still have occasional inclusion of animal protein. And it's an attainable, sustainable lifestyle for us. And it seems like for 22 consumers.
I agree. Probably would fall on and I would come from different cultures, and food is great. And if you really want to enjoy food, of course, you always want to enjoy whole, healthy food, but you want to enjoy foods from different cultures with spices and such.
Yeah, and this is great on the
Interesting.
go. This is about convenience, right? So it's like this is not going to be in the produce aisle. This is a packaged food. But when you look historically at the label of packaged food, it is filled with a crazy high sodium, not as much minimal protein, lots of calories, lots of sugars. And so we're kind of turning that up on its head of saying, here's a clean, tasty alternative, but it really comes down to the ingredients we use, the amount of protein, and that you can have this in a matter of minutes. And we all have busy lives, and this is getting your time back.
Okay, so my staff, you didn't hear them. They said, how can I reheat? How do I cook it, reheat it? What do I do? That's question one.
On the bowls,
Yeah, on what we got here. I've got my
so
two
on the
bowls.
bowls, you would fill to the fill line or use a measuring cup, which depends upon the flavor. So like chili uses about 1 cup of water, the rest use about 3/4 cup of water. Then you would remove the lid. You would peel back the seal halfway. You would add that amount of water. Keep the seal on when you microwave, and you would put it in the microwave for anywhere between 3 and 3.5 minutes, depending on your microwave. And you kind of want to have that at a medium to high setting, not on high. Medium to high is typically when it comes out best. Bring it out of the microwave, put the lid back on, let it sit for about 2 minutes, can give it a really good stir and eat. You also can elevate these bowls, So for the Mexican, you could add cheese, you could add sour cream, you could dip with some chips, you could put it over a salad, and have your version of a Chipotle bowl. The chili, you could serve with a little cornbread on the side. You can elevate that. You could add hot sauce on what we love on the Asian styled skews, the stir fry and the teriyaki. You could add a little soy sauce or tamari, or you could add a little toasted sesame oil is fabulous on there. So these can be elevated or you can eat as is. If you do not microwave, if you're camping or you don't like the microwave, you can always put it on the stovetop or boiling hot water, add it to the top. You let it sit covered for about 8 to 10 minutes, give it a really good stir. It's ready to go. So there's countless ways that you can utilize these products, but notoriously the microwave is the best use.
So it's a quick, you can make it as a
It's
snack.
ready in 3.5 minutes. It's a snack
That's
after school for the kids. You're a busy working parent. You barely have time to go to the bathroom in between all the Zoom meetings. And so this is a great high protein, satisfying and filling, delicious product. And what we did with these bowls is we made plant-based more accessible. This is incorporating it in an everyday bowl, right? So what exists today are ramens, white rice, brown rice, nothing with the actual plant protein, the carb, the seasoning, and the vegetable for a complete all-in-one solution.
outstanding. How did you get away with preparing these without any oil? I mean, that's what they're asking, because unless it's a steamer or the George Foreman grill, where possibly you use lemon or onion as a lubricant, how'd you get away with that? I'm happy about it though. I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that there's no oil, because most of
I
the
would
time
say
I
that's
see,
part of our trade secrets, and that's part of
okay,
the magic of Chef Co and what he can create with such little amount of ingredients. And I also think that stems back to his culinary school days. A lot of this, at the School of Natural Cookery, his mother's school, it's like it's intuitive cooking. It's not following recipes. It's opening up the fridge and being like, I have nothing in my fridge or my pantry, and then making a masterpiece out of what you have. And that's Chef Co's of his magic is, a lot of his magic is a million different things, but part of it is making a masterpiece out of something that's so minimal.
that nickname Co is just so perfect for him. It's kind of like my grandmother. My grandmother was a wonderful cook. She could take a can of beans and make a meal out of it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
feed a family on it. So that's great to hear. Recipes. Would you
Yes.
like to share some of your more popular recipes with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, the greatest thing about our products is how versatile they really are. You can do thousands of things with our products, and our proteins are so great, which are right here behind me. This is
Mm-hmm.
our ground taco, our number one selling SKU, and this is
Mm-hmm.
our protein. So we talked a lot about the bowls, but it all stemmed from this product right here. All you do is boil water, you add the product, it's all dry, you tear notch, add the product. You can add oil to this though. For the meat, we do recommend you add a little olive oil or avocado oil or your preferred oil, because it definitely gives it more of a fatty, meaty like texture as well. It helps with that. And then in 7 to 10 minutes, when the water evaporates, you have your plant protein. You have a beef, chicken, or pork, is what we offer. And the products are made from 10 ingredients in our ground taco, very clean.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that for any base, whether it's chili, whether it's, you can use it in meatloaf, you can do chicken salad with it. You can do actually with our classic salt, pepper, and our chorizo, we use a superfood ingredient derived from seaweed called agar. And so in those two flavors, you actually can form it into a burger, a sausage, a meatball. It takes two cooking steps. So you cook it like how I just mentioned. And
Right.
then if you wanted to make a burger, you would take a ring mold or the lid of your mayo jar, put cellophane, add 2 scoops of the cooked meat, fold it up, put it in the fridge for 30 minutes, and you can grill it up as a burger. It congeals. And so there are so many things you can do, but Chef Co has created hundreds of recipes on rollingreens.com, and you can go specifically there to find a recipe of your choice.
Now, you use a lot of protein in that you use pea for your protein, but
We
there's
do.
a secret sauce to the pea protein. You want to share that with everybody?
Well, there's lots of secret sauce, but I would say the seasoning component of Chef Co, a chef behind the products, right? This isn't made in a lab by food scientists. This is real food made from a real chef. And you are going to get that chef crafted nature in every bite. Let Chef Co do the work for you. And all you have to focus is on your trimmings, your whatever recipe you want to do, but that is perfectly seasoned and ready to go from a chef, which makes a major impact. And the fact that it can be your pantry staple and you can just pull it out at any time and have this incredible, robust meal is really something that we're missing out there.
Outstanding. So peas, in addition to what you said, use 15 times less land and emit 10 times fewer carbon emissions than beef. Pea protein is also lightweight and shelf stable, as you said, which means lower transportation costs, less waste, zero negative environmental effects from refrigeration, kind of exemplifying what you said before. Then you add the pea with the shiitake mushrooms, getting those little hidden essential amino acids and the branch chain amino acids. You're now getting a complete protein, kind of dispelling one of the knocks, if you will. So we got rid of that. We got rid of the idea of the sugar. Now, this one's crazy. I disagree with it, but I get asked it every day. If I eat plant-based foods, I'm not getting essential nutrients. So I am therefore nutrient deficient.
Mm. What do you think? What do you say to that?
What do I say to that? Well, the fact remains that I think the carnivore diet has merits. I think the carnivore diet has merits within the flexitarian diet. And I think we just dispelled that myth. And I think, there's essential, there's crucial nutrients. And I think if you want to build a healthy garden in your gut, because it's all about health in your gut, you want to pick from the gardens of life and you want to eat the different food groups. And to be quite politically correct, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. I don't have a problem with any diet. I think the diet should be individualized for you. I think we should have plants. We obviously, with the plants, vegetables, obviously fruits. We can have a certain amount of grains. If we're not allergic to nuts, I don't have a problem with raw nuts, walnuts for men, especially pecans, etc. And I do like my protein sources. Like I said, I don't want to remove, we have to remove the ultra processed foods. We have to remove the dairy. We have to remove the gluten. We have to remove the high sugar, etc. We don't have to remove things that are grown in the ground. Maybe fix what we're using to populate the soil of the ground. But let me move
What
on.
I
Oh, I'm
think I
sorry.
heard you too, just real quick, just a note, because I think I heard you say this is like, what do animals eat?
Yeah. It's like, what
Okay.
does fish eat? Algae. So it's okay to take an algae fish oil. I'm not saying it's the best fish oil, but if you take what they eat, I mean, the obvious is right there.
Yeah.
So what's new for RollinGreens? What's next? What can you share?
Well, the bowls are brand new, which we're super excited about. We just launched those 2 months ago and they're doing really well in market. And I think ultimately our goal is to feed the world healthy, tasty, affordable food. And that really starts here in the US, but ultimately we see expansion outside the US. And I think that there is a lot of innovation under our belt. So this is just the beginning for us, our line of products. And not only are we growing within the retail segment in about 5,000 stores nationwide, we are growing in the B2B segment as well. So that is an exciting emerging side of the business that we're very excited about for the future.
So I kind of want to like flip the page a little bit. I want to ask you a question because, like I had said before, you're a serial entrepreneur and a foodie. What could you share with the budding entrepreneurs on your entrepreneurial experience?
Wow. Well, there's a lot that I'm ultimately going to write a book about, that's for sure. But I would say some might have a plan B. We never did.
Mm,
And I think that there's a lot of merit in not having a plan B. Um, and so I think we have been very laser and focused with our mission. Understand what is your vision? Why is that your vision? Because that will drive everything. That will make it so there's the highest of highs and lowest of lows. And this will be able to weather that storm when you keep your vision held high. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about the vision. It's about our customer and who we want to reach and the world that we want to change through the food system. That is our ultimate goal. So everything else in between is just getting us to our goal. So if you come with that lens, it creates a little bit of a safer haven for you. The other thing is it build a kick-ass team. Empower a team around you. You cannot do it alone. And Ryan Chef Co and I did it for so long on our own. You can only get so far. You can only get to a certain burnout, or a certain place before you burn out. So I would say find an incredible team around you and continue to build that and empower your team. And oh my gosh, there's so much more I would tell an entrepreneur, but I think those are some big ones. And never let anybody tell you that you can't do it.
I love it. Those are some key takeaways. So before I always sign off, I have a good friend of mine. He listens to all my podcasts. He's an inspiration for me. And he says, Rob, do me a favor. And he's highly educated, smartest guy that I know. I can almost barely hold a conversation with him. That said, he says, give me 3 takeaways after listening to your podcast that I can implement Monday morning to make my life better. Help me out with that.
You want me to say 3 takeaways that will help from this podcast?
From this podcast.
Okay. I would say no particular order. One takeaway is that a flexitarian diet is attainable.
Great.
And incorporating plants into your diet is not only necessary, but it's sustainable, and you will benefit from many improvements in your life. Another takeaway is dispelling the disbelief around a plant-based diet and understanding that maybe some of the rhetoric that has been around a plant-based diet in the recent years is not true. And I think that it does a lot for your body and the planet. And so we should really look into incorporating more plant-based foods because it can be high protein. It can have all essential amino acids. It can have zero sugar or low sugar, and it can taste great. And that I think is the biggest misconception around plant-based foods is it doesn't taste good and it's not good for you. Well, Rolling Greens is here to disprove that.
Outstanding. I love it. I love the fact that healthy food tastes good. It excites me, and it does. And next up for me is the Mexican rice bowl to be my lunch.
Nice. I love
But
it.
no, there's 18 grams of protein. I have my 3 ounces of chicken. My wife
Yep.
made that. Don't worry, it's pasture raised, everything of that nature. So
Yep.
good quality stuff because I want to get buff in my middle age. I love the fact that you're talking about not just plant-based, but you're talking about sustainable, that we can produce this for everybody and we don't damage the country, the environment, and things like that. And on a personal note, I love the woman-owned entrepreneur. I love it because, that's the man and the woman and the couple, if you will, two sides of the coin to really fill it out.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I didn't even say we're a certified women owned company and we're women led and we're chef driven. But that is another, could be a takeaway from this is that a husband and wife, that's a big kind of people
Dynamic.
mistake a husband and wife working together, right? It could be a disaster. Well, Ryan, Chef Co, and I are here to prove that you can have a incredible marriage, an incredible partnership, and an incredible business together. You can do it all. You can have it all. And Chef Co and I have worked very, very hard. We've been together 17 years. We've been in business together for 14 years. And we've never been more in love and more bullish about our business. And we're thriving. So there is no secret to it. It takes a lot of hard work, but that's another thing. You can build an empire together as husband and wife.
I agree with you. My wife is my CEO. She's my chief everything officer. You met her, May. She does a great job. We've known each other 25 years almost.
Yep.
Been married almost 20 and worked together 15.
Congrats.
And, anybody who can spend that much time with me is definitely ready for sainthood. And she is without question. But I wholeheartedly agree. It's not easy to do business. It's hardest typically to do business with family. But when you find the right person, and the stars aligned, and as they say in the Jewish religion, you're Berchet, you're star lover. Life is grand. I really appreciate your time. We've got to do it again. We've got to get Chef KO on.
Yes.
And everybody, RollinGreens, great plant-based food. I got it right here. It's my lunch. Everybody, Dr. Rob, Lindsey Cunningham, always yours in health, proven health alternatives.